We're here to discuss the estimates. Premier Higgs, the floor is yours for 5 minutes. Go ahead, sir.
Point of order, Mr. Chair. Point of order, Mr. Chair.
Before we start, I'd just like to have, before you
to-
raise a point of order, I'm not here for, controversial debate. I would just like the opportunity
point of order,
to make a
Mr.
comment about thinking bigger in Canada and how we can meet the climate change objectives, and we can be a major player here in New Brunswick.
We will provide time for that.
Sorry, what's your point of order? Sorry, Premier Higgs, what's your point of order?
Mr. Chair, I'm looking forward to the testimony of both premiers today and getting an explanation from both of them why they're both raising taxes and the cost of heating and energy.
What's your point of
for
order?
residents, 12%. So I'm really interested to hear why they're raising the cost of living for their residents.
What's your point of order, Mr. Kusmiercyzk?
My concern, Mr. Chair, is that we are right now meeting in contravention of Standing Order 108 and also in contravention of a motion that this committee has passed yesterday that prohibits you, Chair, from calling meetings and witnesses unilaterally without consultation and consent from committee. And I would ask the clerk to provide some comment and direction on it, because this is now the third meeting this week that we've had scheduled without any consultation of committee, without any instruction from committee. This is the third meeting that is being held in a row during a constituency week, which is a sacred week that is focused on constituents. I know our Conservative colleagues couldn't give two hoots about our constituents, but we do.
Okay, Mr. Kusmiercyzk, can you just stick to the point of order, please, and not an editorial?
Absolutely, and I'm just about to wrap up here. And so whenever we have,
On a point of order, Mr. Chairperson, there's no interpretation because apparently there are multiple microphones open at the same time, causing interference.
is the interpretation on?
Sorry, interpretation is on. Mr. Savard Tremblay is just pointing out other people talking, but if you could get to your point of order,
yes,
please.
And I'm just about to conclude right here shortly, because I do want to get to the premiers as well. But meetings during constituency weeks are
That's not a point of order, Mr. Kusmiercyzk. Either get to the point of order, or we will move back to Premier Higgs.
So my point, Mr. Chair, is I am asking the clerk to comment on whether this meeting is in contravention of both Standing Order 108 and also in contravention of the motion that this committee passed yesterday prohibiting the chair from calling meetings without consultation and consent of this committee. And what is particularly egregious, I have to say, is that, Mr. Chair, you called these so-called emergency meetings this week, 3 of them, and not one of the permanent Conservative members of this committee even bothered to show up.
Okay. I will address your point of orders, Mr. Kusmiercyzk.
No one from the opposition leaders' front bench bothered to show up to ask questions. That is egregious. We're here from the Liberal side, the NDP side, the Bloc side. We're here to do
Mr. Kusmiercyzk, you've made your point of order. I will rule on your point of order.
Conservative members of this committee. Where are the permanent members, Conservative members of this committee?
Point of order, Chair.
And why are they not here to do their work?
I will address your point of order. But Mr. Singh, on a point of order, then I'll address Mr. Kusmierczyk's.
Thank you, Chair. Appreciate it.
Briefly, please.
I appreciate that you made a ruling on this yesterday, I believe, as Mr. Kusmiercyzk once again is trying to silence another premier and not let them testify about the harmful impacts of a 23% increase on the carbon tax that's going to impact families worse.
You're the finance critic. You weren't even here yesterday.
Sorry, Mr. Kusmiercyk. Please to respect the interpreters and for Mr. Savard Tremblay, just one person at a time. It is clear, committee, and I'm going to read, committee meetings are convened by the chair, and it can be after a decision made by the committee or on the chair's own authority. And that's right from page 29 or 1095 of the Green Book. With respect to the motion yesterday, as I stated yesterday, my ruling was, I believe it was...
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Kusmiercyk, let me finish, please.
I
will stop.
The question of the clerk,
you do not, Mr. Kusmiercyk, you've been around for a long time. You know very well the rules that you do not address questions to the clerk. You know that very well, and it appears you're just being disruptive at this time. But I appreciate what you're saying, but the rules clearly allow the chair to call meetings on his own authority, which I did. With respect to the motion yesterday, as I ruled yesterday, my belief is that is for meetings going forward. You cannot I don't believe it could simply reach back in time and change what has already been booked. So that is what my ruling is. If you'd like to hear the clerk's response about my chair's ability to call a meeting, I'm happy to refer to him and he can repeat